I just got ready to film my second paid brand deal, so I feel like now is the perfect time to talk to you guys a little bit about brand deals. I've had some people ask me some questions about it, and I totally understand because before I started posting, I feel like brand deals were the #1 thing I had questions about, and I was just so curious about them. I feel like a lot of that curiosity comes from the fact that paid brand deals are still a pretty new thing, and there's not a lot of universal knowledge about it. So I'm just going to share my own personal knowledge about it, but know that I don't have a lot. So #1 question is, how do you get them? And I've gotten both of mine through the email in my bio. They've both reached out and asked me for rates for a paid brand deal. But I've also had situations where I've had brands reach out to me for a gifted collaboration, and then I've come back and said, I'm not accepting gifted collaborations, only paid ones at the moment, and then they've asked for my rates. So you can technically try and turn something into a paid brand deal. And then another question I get often is, how do you know that the brand is legit? And this is pretty hard, but my #1 thing is I look at their email. Obviously the email isn't the only thing you should be looking at because scammers are getting good. But if it ends in Gmail and they're not like a super small new startup company, you can often believe that it's a scam. Most of the bigger companies have emails that end in the company name. The next thing is the big topic that everyone wants to know about, and that is rates. And I feel like rates are confusing because everyone does different rates. There is no universal knowledge, and also everyone's accounts are so different. When trying to decide your own rates, the first thing I would look at is your engagement rate. So if you have a higher engagement rate, that's good. That means people are going to engage on this paid post, which is what brands want. You also want to look at your analytics. Like for example, if a clothing brand was coming to me, I would want to say 95% of my audience is female, they're in their 20s, and they live in the US. Someone asked me what is the lowest amount you can get paid for a video, and the true answer is 0. If you're not putting your rates out there, a brand would totally want you to promote them for $0. So if a brand reached out to you for a paid deal, first thing I would ask for in return is exactly what the collaboration would look like and what their budget is for what they're looking for. This gives me an idea of how much work will go into the collaboration, which can play into your rates, and also what their budget is, because oftentimes brands have a budget for what they're looking for. Most of the times brands won't share it, and they'll just be like, we want to know your rates, and that's totally fine. Then you share your rates. I personally think you should always shoot a little bit higher for your rates because that leaves room for negotiation. I heard that if a brand accepts your rates right away, that means shoot higher next time because you're worth more. My account personally, I've gotten brand deals that were in the 3-digit area. I haven't gotten 4 and I haven't gotten 2. So like a few hundred is where I feel like I would shoot if you were in my area. And then here are some terms that when you get your brand deal, which you all are going to get one, because we're manifesting, these are some terms that you will probably hear: organic usage rights and paid usage rights. Organic usage rights means that the brand has the right to organically push your video onto their account. They could repost it basically. Paid usage rights means the brand has the right to put money into this video and then make more money from it. So run it as an ad. For the most part, organic usage rights are always included in the base rates. If a brand asks for paid usage rights, they're often going to ask for a little bit more. For example, if a brand asked me for a video and they were going to pay me $5,000, they wanted 60 days of paid usage rights, I could say something like, I charge somewhere between 10 to 20% of the base rate, so of the $5,000, for each 30 days of paid usage rights. But if you have any other questions, let me know. I tried to answer everything. Something I struggle with is I don't know how much I can share. But I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.